Welcome everybody, I'm here, I'm Valerie from Together Against Cancer. Today I have the immense pleasure of having Kat Berry from Berry and Bloom with me. Hello Kat.
Hello.
I know you're just as bonkers as me, I love it. Kat, tell us who you are and what you do.
Who am I? Kat Berry from Berry and Bloom. And what do I do? It's a slightly difficult question. That I always find it awkward because I do a few different things. So as like a catch-all, I'd say I'm a therapist. Within that, I tend to weave things like hypnotherapy, mindfulness, meditation, and what we're here specifically today to talk about, sound, to support people navigating change, I guess, transitions in life, whatever people need. And that's why it's so tricky. I'll often have clients who say to me, oh, I've told my friend they need to come and see you. What is it that you do? I'm like, what? It changes depending on who I'm in the room with, where we are, and what it is that I'm supporting them with. So I'll draw from different disciplines. So it's a slightly difficult, hence the long-winded answer question.
Well, in short, you're here to help people.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a simple way to put it.
What we do as well.
Yes.
So we help them with different modalities, and you've got a range of therapies at your hands. And I love what you do for us at the charity. And you've been supporting us for, I don't know, a good 2-3 years?
4 years. I looked it up.
4 years.
Yeah, March 2022 was the first sound bath at the centre.
Because I remember meeting you at a market in Barrow-upon-Soar, I believe.
Christmas market.
We did not stop talking for a good 10-15 minutes.
Yes, because I sort of marched up and I took a leaflet and was looking at the leaflet and went, you don't have sound. And you went, no, we don't, and I'd love to. I'm like, well, here I am.
And I was like, yes, please.
And that was that.
Better. And to be fair, every time we book something, the room is packed. You know, the bookings go just very quickly. We've got a waiting list, and it's only on the day. Obviously, it happens sometimes. People can't turn up, but we've never had to cancel yours. You know, people love what you do. Sound baths is something that a lot of people out there that are not aware of the different therapies available to people outside of the NHS. They'll be going, what is a sound bath? What do you mean? You can't go into a bathroom and a bath and have sound around you. So please explain what a sound bath is.
Yeah, it can be confusing. So there's no water involved. There is no getting naked, not in these settings. It's about bathing in sound, really. I think I'm preferring sound journeys a little more at the moment, but sound bath is a phrase that a lot of people are seeing more and more and more. It's becoming a little bit zeitgeisty. So people are starting to get inquisitive about it. So it's the bath bit comes from bathing in sound.
I've seen forest bathing out there, so it's similar. You just immerse yourself in a forest.
Yes.
This is about immersing yourself in sounds.
Yes.
What's the origin of this kind of practices? Do you know?
That's a tricky one because sound has been around before humans were, and humans have always used sound. From what we understand, what we'd now call as therapeutic, we've always used it. Through voices, through the body, through things like drums, you know, through the old ancient instruments, and primarily through the voice. So it goes back as long as humans go back. In its modern form, I don't know where we'd trace it back to, because some of the instruments go back hundreds of years, some thousands, some, like the crystal bowls, they were created in the 80s, and that was an accident. That was through, in Silicon Valley, they used to create these quartz crystal crucibles in order to grow computer chips. And if they weren't like 100% pure, they'd discard them. And they discovered that when they discarded these crucibles, they made a really pure tone. So somebody had the genius idea.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Look what we've created accidentally in the 80s through Silicon Valley. The crystal bowls were created. So they're really quite modern, whereas the Tibetan or Himalayan or the metal bowls, some of them, this is what we'd call a modern or a new bowl, but some of them are really old. You know, this is an old arms bowl. This was used for food. I guess it's evolving and expanding all the time, like everything.
And how did you come across all this?
Through my own personal experience, really. So I used to live in London up until 6 years ago, and I was there for 23 years. So I used to work in the music industry, lived a very different life and lifestyle. It was great fun. It was very exciting. It was hardcore. And I left in 2008 completely burnt out, severely depressed, highly anxious, and had to sort of put myself back together again and not really knowing what I was going to be doing next. And organically, I found my way to hypnobirthing, which is using hypnosis to help support parents getting ready for the birth of their children and parenting. And I was doing that for a number of years and seeing just how powerful hypnosis is in helping people change their mindset, become more confident. It's kind of retraining the brain in a more helpful way.
The nervous system as well? Or?
And the nervous system, absolutely. Yeah, all of it. So I was really familiar with hypnosis, self-hypnosis. I'd begun my practice, my training in CBT. Part of that was mindfulness-based therapies. So I was doing all of that and teaching hypnobirthing like almost 7 days a week, hugely popular. And the centre at which I was working in Hackney had somebody that they called a gong master. And for one of our Christmas parties, she'd set up these gongs and a few of us gathered together, and it was the first time I had ever heard a gong struck.
Yeah.
And this is about 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. And almost immediately as I heard that first strike, something happened in my body. And everything changed. And I knew it was taking me to that trance state that I could take myself to with meditation, with self-hypnosis, but really quickly. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is this? What is this alchemy that you are creating? So I started going to sound baths and was just kind of fascinated by it, but not thinking about doing it, just adoring that I had this at my fingertips. By the time I left Hackney, you could go to a sound bath every night of the week. There were so many practitioners, everywhere was offering it, and that was, 6 years ago. So I'd been going regularly, and one of the gong masters there, one day after I'd been teaching hypnobirthing, we'd sort of passed each other on the corridor, and he said to me, I've been thinking about you. You probably want a moon gong, don't you? And I just looked at him and went, is there such a thing? A moon gong? I want a moon gong.
What is a moon gong?
So it's basically a gong that has been tuned to the frequency, in my case, to the frequency of the new moon. But because he knew I was really into cyclical living and lunar living and was sharing this with a lot of clients, just the words moon gong felt like magic to me. Yes, it does. So my very first instrument was a gong, which is unusual, really. Most people will start with a little bowl or something, or a chime. Anyway, this gong came into my house and I was playing it for me and playing it for friends and started bringing it into some of my hypnotherapy sessions. So kind of unwittingly creating hypno-gong, if you like it. So using it to support what I was doing with my voice. Shortly after that came some crystal bowls, and I started falling into this trap of, what's next? What's next?
What else can I get?
What's next? And one of the reasons why I left London was because I needed more space, physical space, for myself, but for more instruments.
All your babies, right?
Yeah, so that I could go deeper with the sound, because I knew that was really calling me by that point. So yeah, and then as soon as I came up to the Midlands, it's all anybody wanted.
There are a few sound bath practitioners in the area, but not that many.
There's a lot more now.
Is there? Oh. You've inspired others then?
It's not me. It's like it's capturing the imagination, isn't it?
I think the world is waking up to the idea of using non-standard therapies for their own health and well-being.
Yeah.
And something like sound bath or a sound immersion session is something that is so relaxing. I had the pleasure of coming to one of yours, in Montserrat. It was a very large room. There must have been 40 to 50 people in this room, lying down, some of them snoring.
I never have more than 24.
Oh, this one looked like it was a lot more.
Yeah, I never have more than 24 because it's one of my bugbears. Having been in London, I hate not having space. So it's one of my things that I will always make sure that people have got room.
The really, really large
to
room
breathe.
on the first floor?
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot more there. All lying down or sitting on chairs reclining. And yeah, some people ended up falling asleep and relaxing. I nearly did. I know I nearly did. If it wasn't for somebody like coughing or something next to me, I would have fallen asleep.
Yeah, it happens.
It was so relaxing. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I'm glad you come to the centre and support us there with the cancer patients doing it. And I'm not surprised when they come out and they're just so spaced out. Like, oh, this was so relaxing. You can see them just like half zombies by the time they come out. But they need it. And we touched upon how it impacts the nervous system. Is that something you can expand on?
Yeah, I mean, there's several ways in which sound affects us. So there's the physiological effect. It does tend to regulate the nervous system, blood pressure, heart rate. It also changes the internal chemistry in the body. It tends to lower stress hormones, produce more nitric oxide. Through entrainment in the brain, what we see is that the brain waves start to slow, so we move from those. So this is what happens with hypnosis, with meditation. We tend to find that we move from those more agitated, more awake, more alert, conscious states, maybe drifting down through that alpha state, sort of slightly daydreamy, to theta, a little bit more than daydreamy, but not quite asleep. And occasionally we'll get someone dropping off into sleep, but they come back, so they're not gone. And often there's this dance between those sort of alpha and theta states, which is why so many people after a sound journey, for me it will usually be at least 45-50 minutes of sound. So they'll have been lying down for over an hour typically. And I always say at the end, you've been lying down for over an hour. Take care in how you're, as you're coming back, because we've been moving through those altered states of consciousness. And people are always surprised that it's been that long, because they've moved through this trance phenomena where they're sort of like, they're aware a bit and then they've dropped off a bit and then they come back. Oh, what's she talking about now? Oh, what's that sound? And sometimes they'll say afterwards, you didn't play the gongs tonight. I'm like, I played them for 20 minutes. I didn't hear them. They've been somewhere else.
Yes, on a bit of a voyage, right?
And that somewhere else is fascinating to me.
Tell us more what you've brought today. And I know it's just a small sample because I've seen you with quite a large gong actually in the room.
There's a few large gongs, yeah. But, we're in a small space and I didn't know if you might want little demos.
Please.
So we've got a few different things here. We've got the tuning forks down at the front, which is something that I don't normally use in a group setting. These are the one-to-one settings. So these ones are weighted forks. These ones are unweighted. So these are the weights at the top. So with a weighted fork, we use these directly on the body. So you strike them. Some people use their knee. I don't use my knee. And then you can place them. Certain acupressure points in the body, you can use them. So the bigger ones, I would use into muscles. That one is used on the periphery. The next one down is used a lot for sacral work. This one's really good for muscular tension. So it goes directly into the bone, directly into the muscle.
So how do you know? Oh, this one's got, it's a bit of a crystal at the end.
That's got rose quartz, because that's the one I use most. So at the moment I have a few clients with arthritis. Let's use that as an example. And so I'm using a mixture of bowls in the hands and the one with the rose quartz, certain points in the hands. And the difference that it makes in terms of reducing inflammation, reducing pain, it's quite extraordinary. But obviously in a group setting, I can't be
Not
using.
the same.
Yeah, and these don't make as much noise, whereas the unweighted ones, so this is a C and a G. Don't know if we'll get a stereo sound through the microphone, but so a C and a G together, if you know your musical theory, creates what's known as a perfect fifth interval. So it sounds harmonious to the ears. When we use it really close to the ears, so I'll give these to you in a moment and you give it a go so that you can hear it close to the ears. It creates this interval between the ears.
Does it calm the brain then?
It's really wonderful for harmonising both hemispheres. Have a go, just a gentle tap and bringing one either side, because you'll know how close or how far you want them to be.
You can still hear it.
Yeah, and I'm going to get you to balance it up. Once the sound's completely dissipated, I want you to do it the other way because I don't want you to be discombobulated.
It's still going. It's amazing how, when you did it, I could barely hear anything for after a few seconds.
Yeah.
Here, I can still hear it on this side.
Yeah. And then swap them around and do it the other way. So in a one-to-one setting, I'll use tuning forks quite a lot off the body. So I'll often begin with this working with certain protocols, different forks either side of the head, but also working in the biofield around the body. So when I first came across tuning forks in training, you were asked to have a certain set of instruments.
Yep.
And I got 2 tuning forks for this particular training. And they came and I was like...
Didn't like them?
Well, I mean, look at them. They're not quite a gong, are they? You know, gongs are big and shiny and exciting. And these were just 2 forks. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And we started working with them and I was receiving and I was doing it as well. I was like, oh my God.
I could feel it vibration.
Yes.
It vibrate a second ago.
Yes. So they're incredibly powerful, but seemingly quite
Not
subtle.
the most aesthetic tool, but yes, obviously everybody's seen something like a tuning fork or something that's...
Well, we know tuning forks, from the medical setting as well.
Yes.
So in a place where you can't get access to x-rays, they will use tuning forks to detect fractures or breaks in bones. Because your body's a really beautiful conductor of sound. Sound waves move through bone, through water, through blood, through fascia, through tissues, really easily. So if there's no access to x-ray machines, they will use a tuning fork and place it at a certain point, and they know if it's not travelling through, there's a break, there's a fracture, there's something. To
be fair, there are scans that are based on sounds.
And they're using sound waves to break up tumours. So, the research that's going into using sound waves has exponentially increased.
Which is great news for everybody. I mean, I know it's going to take 10, 20, maybe 30 years for it to get to the mainstream, use and applications, but all of this, I want to call it ancient practices, is coming more and more available now.
Yeah, well, let's not get too woo-woo, but there are some people who will say...
We are very woo-woo together.
Things like the pyramids, certain temples were created as sonic chambers.
Yes, I mean, churches are.
Yeah.
If you ever walked into a church or a temple, any kind of religious places, there is so much sound availability there. And that's why you've got to be so quiet, because it will bounce back so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether it's voice, through mantra, through chanting, singing,
bells, whatever.
We do know this. And I think still people who come to their first sound bath or sound journey are still really surprised just how much of a full body listening experience it is. Because we tend to think of sound as just coming through the ears.
Correct. Yeah.
But it's every cell of your being is receiving vibration.
This is the whole point of sound bathing, immersion. It goes through you, literally through you, not just listening. It's going through your cells, through your body, and it has an impact. It will calm it down and it will regulate things.
Yeah. If you look up Cymatics on the internet, Cymatics, Cymatics is sound made visible. So, I mean, I'd try it here, but I'd make a mess of it. If you were to put water in this bowl and then play the bowl like that, you would see all these geometric patterns created, or sand on vibration plates and then using it. So we're largely made up of water. Guess what's happening inside us when those sound waves are around us and within us? It's like a recalibration, if you like. And if you think about sympathetic resonance, so you heard that phenomena if you were to put 2 grandfather clocks or 2 metronomes in a room, or even more than that, and they're all moving at different paces. If you were to leave them, you'd come back and they would all
synchronise, naturally synchronise. Yes, I've heard of this.
So the sympathetic resonance, this is what is thought to be happening within the body. So if we've got some cells that are running a bit high, when we're creating certain frequencies with different instruments, maybe it helps them calm down, soothe them. If some are running a bit sluggish, a bit stagnant, a bit stuck, maybe they come up and meet it, which is why you can work with a room full of people, not even know why they're there or what's going on in their body, but their body is going to directly interact with the sound and take what it needs from the sound. And I love that it's kind of wonderful to have an intention, but it's not about you consciously having to do something as the receiver. Get comfortable and be open.
You've
is
already
about
made the choice of coming along and experiencing it, and that is the first step anyway. We've got some other things on the table. I'm very curious. So we've gone through the tuning forks, the 2 type, and are these chimes?
Yeah, so these are these are the instrument I probably get asked about more than any other. These are called Koshi chimes.
Koshi chimes.
Koshi, Koshi. These ones are handmade. They're handmade at the foot of the Pyrenees, these ones.
Oh.
And they are beautiful. Like any instrument, it's very possible to overplay them. But I swear, the instrument I get asked most about after a sound bath is the Koshi chimes. What was that thing? What was that? And people will have different phrases. Yeah. What was that thing like magic? What was the fairies? Oh, I felt like I was in forest. What was that sprinkling that you did towards the end? Because I will often bring these over people because I like to play with their biofield.
Yes, you walk in between people.
Yes, yeah. These metal bowls, typically known as Himalayan bowls.
What's the difference between Himalayan and Tibetan bowls?
It's really just the name, because actually, some of the bowls, they're not coming from Tibet at all. But I tend to say Himalayan because it encompasses a larger space. The older bowls are typically made from about 7 metals. I shouldn't say about, from 7 metals. There's a theory behind it that it's celestially based. This one looks darker. It's called a moon bowl because it's left in the forge for longer. So that's why it's darker.
And there are some writings on there. Is that Sanskrit?
Yes. Please don't ask me what it says because I couldn't tell you.
But is it all Sanskrit though?
And there's a symbol.
Sanskrit. Oh.
Yeah. So I never imagined that I would have a new bowl in my setup because they're just a bit too new and shiny aesthetically for me. But I was in this wonderful place in Machynlleth in Wales where they have these beautiful bowls, and the minute I struck this one, I was like, oh, hello, you're coming home with me. just goes on forever and ever and ever. And there are so many overtones to it, whereas the crystal bowls are very pure.
It's like a wave.
Yeah. And you can create waves, actually. So if I was to take this, let's see if I can do this. I usually do that with water in, which makes it a little bit easy, but you can do it with your mouth as well.
I hope you could have heard that through the mic, because that was just unbelievable.
So, often people will use a bowl for meditation practice to signify the beginning and the end of their practice.
I can see why, because this puts you into a state of more relaxed state. So yes, it's easier to get into your meditation if you've got one of those first. What about this one? What does this old one sound like? This sound just brought me back to a movie.
It's quite reminiscent to me of like temple bells. And it's reminded me, I was doing a session for children. There was a charity thing set up in Loughborough once, and I went to do sound baths on a Saturday lunchtime in the town centre. And it was this centre where they were doing all sorts of different workshops. So it's not your typical...
the wellbeing centre?
No, it's not there anymore. It's like a pop-up. It was a Charnwood Arts project. Urban Forest, it was called. So it was about bringing the forest into the centre of town. And they had me come in to offer some sound sessions. So imagine it's noon on a Saturday.
Busy.
At the Rushes shopping centre, basically. People running around and lots of noise and other stuff going on in space. So it's not your typical sound bath
location
environment. Yeah. But I felt like the Pied Piper, because as soon as I started playing the big crystal bowls, they all came flooding over. And like sitting there with eyes wide open. And there were two boys in particular that I'm remembering who came in later. There weren't as many people around, and they were like, what is this? What do we do? I said, okay, sit down and close your eyes and just notice where you feel the sounds. So I was playing different bowls to begin with, and one of them was like, oh, my brain feels fizzy. And the other one went, that reminds me of temple. And we had this really lovely kind of 10 minutes together, and afterwards I was told that they were recent refugees. And they'd been sort of struggling, settling in. And it took on a whole new meaning, what he'd said, that this had kind of connected him back to home through the sound. And this happens all the time. We have different memories. I mean, I've had somebody say, what was the ice cream at the end of a sound bath about the Koshi chimes? We loved them. What was the ice cream van at the end? I was like, excuse me.
But it's true, we associate memories with sound and smell and emotions. And yes, and this is why that one brought me back to a movie. And I'll tell you in a minute which one it was. But yeah, I can imagine, yes, for some people it will be reminiscent. And I know different sound bowls make different sounds.
And it can be really quite emotional.
Yes. Well, I was tearing up. Yeah. I was telling me about the refugees. So.
Yeah. It can be a very much a release. A sound journey, and that release can be physical. So we might notice that muscles are releasing tension, and they might sort of fizz a little bit, shake a bit, and tingle and twitch. Yeah, all of that. We might feel things softening. We might get water coming out of the eyes. It happens, and not just in the session. The longer I'm working with sound, the more I'm realising that it actually takes a couple of days for the body to really filter the sound through the cells. So it keeps unfolding. So I always invite people afterwards to remain curious. Notice how you're sleeping, notice how you're feeling. We don't always need to really overanalyze it.
Yeah.
Emotions are energy in motion. They're meant to be in motion. You know, the problems often come up when we suppress them, resist them, struggle with
when we get them to stay where they are.
Yeah.
To move and let it go.
So if it helps things to start to move, it can feel a bit unusual, a bit uncomfortable, a bit daunting for some of us. The more familiar, if we can find these safe places where we can encourage them to move a little bit, create a little bit of space for things to move, that's incredibly valuable.
So you've spoken about all these different bowls, the chimes, the tuning forks. What's the wooden? Because you use this mallet.
Yeah,
This
so
one.
if you use different mallets on
Ooh.
different instruments, you get different sounds.
Oh, I see. One's a bit higher than the other. Okay. Oh, never had that one before. We've got a little
That's
one
the
there.
little arms bowl. So that's an antique bowl.
Nice. But you've got this wonderful pink glass-looking cloche, I want to call it. But that's my French brain.
Without cake underneath it, I'm afraid.
Yes. Yeah. To me, that's a cloche.
I don't want
But
to stop that one singing.
It's like a glass wine upside down without a base.
So this is what's known as a practitioner's bowl. So I couldn't really bring in the set of frosted crystal bowls that I have. They're too big and heavy. But this practitioner bowl is, again, it's really useful one-to-one with people. So there's two different ways of playing a bowl. So because it's on this handle, it means that I can direct it specifically over the body. So again, a bit more useful one-to-one or smaller groups.
When you went around it, I didn't hear anything for the first few seconds, and suddenly this
Starts
vibration
coming
came.
up, yeah. I mean, you can do this at home with, a crystal wine glass and water.
Well, as a kid, that was the thing to do when you get bored in a party or something. You just that one
Give it a go.
Give that one a go. They're not crystal.
No.
Wine glasses usually, because I think it's probably too thick, so too sturdy to vibrate.
Yes,
Touch it down.
no.
Everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, all of it is beautiful, but that really resonates with me.
The crystal bowls, so they're very pure in tone, very specifically tuned. Whereas these gongs, they are tuned to a certain note, but there's so many overtones there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these are really like lasers, really, and pure in their tone. So that's lovely when you have I have an octave set. So again, creating intervals with them for harmony or dissonance, depending on what it is that you're creating. It's a story. I do feel like it's telling a story through sound, and people going on journeys, and the feedback I get from people is that's how they're experiencing it as well. I find it amazing when some people have real visual journeys and they come
go on a
back.
journey.
They really do.
If I have a quick nap, I will start daydreaming. So yes, I get it. I'll stop going off somewhere.
But they start. So I was doing a session a few weeks ago, and it was her first ever session. It was in a group. And she came up after and she was like, I've been everywhere. And she started telling me about all these different places she'd visited, and it was clear as a bell for her. It's like, wow, you didn't even have to go to the airport.
No passport needed. Just come for
I'm
a
quite
sound.
jealous. I don't get that kind of visual imagery when I receive sound.
Right, so you do go to sessions where you're the receiver as well?
I do. And obviously I'm receiving to a certain extent when I'm playing as well. You know, you'll get lost in it, and it sort of becomes quite trance-like in itself. But when I'm receiving, so last month I co-hosted an all-night gong immersion. So there were 4 of us hosting that, and we'd take it in turns to play through the night. So it meant that I was able to receive quite a bit through the night as well. But I don't get that kind of visual imagery that some people talk about. I might occasionally get colours. We get that a lot at the centre. Actually, people talking about colours. But yeah, not for me. I haven't unlocked that door just yet.
Maybe.
But that was, some people, you know, it's known as synesthesia, and so experiencing one sense through another. So for some people, as they hear sounds or music or notes, they experience it as colours.
Amazing.
Yeah. For others, it's a more physical thing. I think that's what it is for me. You know, I'm very aware of my body. Some people get sort of quite heavy, relaxed. Some people feel like they're not in their body at all. You know, they're sort of off floating, not aware of their bodies. And I think for those that are finding being in their body quite challenging, that's quite lovely.
Yeah.
You know, people who are living with, trying to manage chronic and acute pain, they find a space alongside it. You know, there's somewhere else as well as that space. That's an interesting thing to discover for oneself. I was asking a few people, knowing I was coming here, because we've been talking about doing this for so long, and finally we were coming in to do this. And I thought, well, I could sort of, you know, make up or intuit or assume what people are getting from coming to the sessions at the centre, or I could just ask them.
Yes, you do ask people.
Yeah. And so a few of them were coming back, and it was very much that sense of they feel safe at the centre.
Yes, they do.
So coming to something new that they're a bit unsure of in a place where they feel safe, that already helps. Taking time to answer questions, you know, have a sense of what to expect beforehand. We have amazing conversations afterwards.
Our clients are wonderful, amazing human beings, and all of them, I see the growth in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful to see them being in a very scared, surviving state when they start coming to us. And over the years, because the support is up to 3 years after the last procedure, you see them grow in confidence and being more assured with who they are and what they want in life. And if most of the time we get to say goodbye to them after 3 years because they've had all the support that we can offer, and they're like, wow, I'm changed, I'm so different, and your sound baths are part of it. So many people have come to them, and they just realise there's more out there than just going for the standard treatments that are being offered to them.
Yeah, it's and there's more to this physical form.
Definitely.
That carries us around the world. Yes.
We could talk for hours about that.
Oh, I know. It's not what we're here for.
No, we're talking about you know. I'm not going to go too woo-woo today. But yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm sure that, you know, people that are watching this podcast, if they've not experienced one of the sessions, they would love to come and see you somewhere. So you've got your website, which is
berryandbloom.com.
And whereabouts do you do classes and how often?
So there are a few different things. So every month I'm at Mount Sorrel Memorial Centre, and I'm also at Waltham on the Wolds, Village Hall. So they're Sunday evening sessions at Waltham and Tuesday evenings at Mount Sorrel. 2 sessions at Mount Sorrel because it's quite popular. So this is 6 o'clock and the 8 o'clock. I'm at Seagrave and or Thrussington on a regular basis. There's a few different collaborations. So I do something called AcuGong, which a lot of people at the centre have then come to do or are very interested in, which is where we combine acupuncture with sound.
Oh, wow.
So that's a smaller group of 12 people. We've been doing it we're in our 4th year now. Dr. Carolyn Edelston from Cycles of Change and I kind of co-host it together. And what we've found over the years, the feedback that we get is that they amplify each other.
I can imagine, because the sound would make the needle vibrate.
It does make it
helps
vibrate.
it travel deeper into the tissue.
Yeah,
maybe?
so the needles are like, it sort of opens up these gateways in the body. And I'm at the Cycles of Change clinic once a month doing one-to-one sessions. And James, who's often the acupuncturist in the room next door to where I practice, he loves it when I'm in. So he'll often get his clients and go, oh, Kat's about to play some gongs. Can I put some needles in and can we watch them? Because and this is in the room next door. And particularly with the gongs, because they're slightly, more resonant and louder, and he'll witness the needles just vibrating ever so slightly.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So when we're in the same room and we're doing it intentionally together, that's quite something.
Wonderful.
That's really powerful.
I saw you did some more seasonal sessions as well, like equinox or
solstice. Yeah.
Yes.
So we just had the summer solstice where we drank cacao and we did a drum circle. I like to bring drums in where we can, everyone playing drums, and then we had a silent disco, and then we settled in to a sound bath. That was glorious.
Oh, I can imagine.
So yeah, for many years now I've been living seasonally and cyclically, both as a woman with my own cycle, with the moon, with the seasons. So I do follow the wheel of the year and create these celebrations both online and in person around those festivals. And there's more collaborations. In the summer we get to go outside more, so I will do swim and sound at 6 Hills through the summer. That's glorious outdoor swimming in the lake with a sound bath on the decking, so the decking really carries the vibrations of the sound. We're over the water, the geese get involved, which is hilarious. You've not done a sound bath until you've had 50 geese join in with it. And the sunset. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the summer and being outdoors more. Brings a different quality into it.
So how do people find you on social media?
At Berry and Bloom on Instagram. There's a few, not hyphens. Is it underscore?
Underscore?
Yeah, at Berry _ and _ Bloom. That's not at all clumsy. Same on Facebook, I think. But yeah, berryandbloom.com. The site will direct people.
Find Kat on berryandbloom.com and then just go from there.
Yeah, all the dates are up there, all the links, the various different offerings and stuff. Yeah, and obviously I'm at the centre usually around every 2 months.
Yes, but that's only for our clients.
It is for your clients.
Special for them.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, they deserve it.
Demand. There's a waiting list for your next session there, so
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm so pleased we were able to do this finally.
Yes, it's been really relaxing actually to be in this room with you and hearing all these different vibrations and instruments. So I'm definitely going to get a chime for my house.
Yes, get a Koshi chime.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
It's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Cheers.